And eye for an eyes, how the fuck we feel when they get one of us, then we're out to kill. I don't care about shit when it goes down like that. The only thing on my mind is the big payback. They get one of us, we get 3 or 4. If that ain't satisfaction, then we're out to get more.
Fuck a drive-by, puto, we'll walk to your door.
Kill you motherfuckers and we'll even the score. We wait for you putos to forget and slip. Then we'll catch you in the streets and unload the fucking clip.
Another puto dead from the other side. Now we wait for the funeral and watch your parents cry. Feeling no remorse for the shit we do. Those putos did it to us, so why not do it to them fools?
The killing doesn't stop, it goes on. It says smoking motherfuckers till these putos are gone. An eye for an eye's what the shit's all about. Rolling up on these levels, taking these pendejos out. Doing it for the homies who ain't here today. Because as long as I live, in my heart they gonna stay. All I do now is think about them in my head. And it's a fucked up feeling now, knowing that they're dead. It's payback time and it's a do or die. I'm doing it for my homies, rest in peace above the sky.
At the hood with the homies getting loaded, kicking back, thinking about the motherfucking crazy payback. It's time to get these motherfuckers for the shit they shouldn't have done. Another homicide, another brutal gone. Killer be killed, it's the name of this game. Doing it for the hood, the homies, and the gang fame.
This shit won't stop, so fuck keeping the peace.
I'm a local motherfucker, gang banger from the east. Rolling down the calle and I just smoked the dick with the weapon in my hand, so now I'm ready to trip. Thinking about my homies who ain't here today, and I'm gonna get these putos, cause for this they gotta pay.
Creeping late at night through the neighborhood, rolling with the lights out to catch a boot and do them good. Not giving a fuck about the time it carries. Just flashes up my homies, and when they got buried, with a knot in my throat and a tear in my eye, we come across this brutal whose time it is to die. He's strolling down the street and doesn't even realize we got a bullet for his ass to go right between his eyes.
Got out the car cause I knew I caught him slipping. He looked and tried to run when he see my ass creeping. Jumped at the puto, hit him up, where you from? He said the wrong shit, so he took one to the dome. Down the puto fell, I guess I'll meet the punk in hell. See when he see my face, but a dead puto can't tell. Jumped in the ride, headed back to the east side. Kicked it with the homies, then we all got high. Smoked a few wet ones and went home and hit the sack. Fell to sleep thinking about the fucking payback.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Nancy. My fucking lips are full of resin again. How are you? I am good. My shoulder and neck is still a little sore, so I'm putting a little ice. But sore neck for about a week. But Robbie is, strong and resilient. Let's see. Oh, so I guess people on the internet our our favorite, you know, I don't know. I just like slept wrong or something, you know. And so, wait, shoe on head made a video. Let's see. There it is. Okay. So, shoe on head. Shout out to, you know, shoe on head. Made a reaction video. And they're talking about this game. Okay. So there's this video game with this little girl. All right. So I don't want to, get too deep into this because there's plenty of videos explaining the drama. But long story short, Capcom released this video game. And so it has this little girl in it, right? And she's like a robot. So it's not a real girl. So in the video game, the guy knows obviously it's not a real little girl because she'd be dead, right? There's a bunch of aliens, running around. So long story short, the point of the video game is for you and this little girl to solve the mystery of what's going on or escape the aliens or whatever, right? But part of your job is to protect her in the video game. So now gamers, I guess, felt what it's like to be a father somehow through the video game, and people got mad and started calling them pedos. So I'm just, I just want to throw in my 2 cents because it seems like there really is anti-baby propaganda. I don't know what you call it. Like she called it like anti-natal, some shit like that. But it happened to me this weekend. Like this weekend, my weekend was almost ruined because I made the mistake of mentioning the word baby. All right. And this girl freaked out on me. So I just want to, I mean, is it not known, is it not call it common sense that one of the things that we're just supposed to do as human beings, and I know, everyone has their own opinions on this, but is to procreate. And is it a bad thing? I mean, it's not a bad, like there are bad things, but obviously the good outweigh the bad, or else we wouldn't have got this far as a species, right? And we need to explain this to people now, because if you for the even if you're even if just playing a video game makes you feel what it feels like to be a dad, that's a bad thing. Like they're calling them pedos. And then look at this. And then so the other thing that I thought was interesting about this was the Hassan Piker about it. All right. So where's the Hassan Piker? The Hassan Piker of it all. And what do I mean by that? Is that apparently there Hassan Piker is supposed to be like the Joe Rogan of the left, I'm assuming. Or I don't know what. Okay, here we go.
To want a family and want children one day, and called him an incel. Cockroach. 2 dogs. You sick f***. We've reached radioactive levels of incel propaganda. What the f*** does incel mean anymore? I feel like I...
Yeah. So, Nancy. This is what I'm saying, Nancy. This is what I'm saying. That it's a thing on Twitter right now that people are arguing about, all right? That for the first time, I guess, 30 or 40-year-old men playing video games, the thought finally, struck them, and they're starting to ask themselves, hey, is this what being a father feels like? And that's a bad thing. And they're calling them names and shit, calling them incels and pedos and saying, why do you, what do you care? You're never going to fuck a woman. Like, what do you mean? What does that mean? Hey, you'd be a creeped out if your significant other was playing. No, Shells, this is a good thing. The video game is a good thing. Why? Because men need to know what that feels like or want, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that is a good thing. Men should want to, is this what it feels like to be a father? That's not so bad. No? Don't you want more? Don't you want your son? Okay, you have a son, right? Do you want him to be like, oh, grandkids or fucking kids? Fuck no. Fuck those little bastards. Children are fucking monsters. Come on, Shells. What if your son was playing that game? I'm talking about. All right then. Yes, you'd love grandkids.
I ask this in every single video. This tweet got thousands of likes. I feel like I am going insane. Where does the incel part come from? Like, they want men to be open about their emotions, and then men are open about their emotions, and then they're just called Nazis or incels or both. Usually both. It's usually a package deal. And this tweet came from a man, to make things worse. A grown-ass man saw another grown-ass man speaking about the normal human desire to want a family and want children one day, and called him an incel. Cockroach behavior.
In any case, what is this? Capcom's Pragmata. Wait, did it come out already?
Okay. That's what the game is called. It's called Pragmata, okay? So, Shell, if you want grandkids, buy this game for your kid. Make them play it. All right. If you want grandkids, all right. Because I don't know what else we need to do. And then all right. And then can I share my experience? All right. Can I tell you what my experience being a father? All right. So Robbie, long story short, Robbie has been with a lot of women. Robbie has had lots and lots of opportunities. So, I mean, there are days where I wonder, like if someone's going to come knocking at my door one day and be like, hey, I'm your son, like I'm your kid. Because Robbie... Anyways, okay, Robbie has had lots of opportunities, but when I met my daughter's mom, for whatever reason, I just knew that I wanted to put a baby in this woman. I don't know why. It was like an instinct. I don't know if it was just spring, and it was a lot going on at that time. So so a lot was going on, like, but and for whatever reason, because Robbie knows the game, Robbie invented the game, the game, like Robbie played the game for so many years, like it just, I was on autopilot at that point. But for whatever reason, I believed this one girl was different than all of the rest. Why? I don't know. It's just, like something in my DNA. Okay. So wait. I'm keeping it short, okay? Because the long version, Robbie had a girlfriend, and so my daughter's mom was, my side girl. So, anyways, all right. So a lot of other stuff happened. Since we weren't together, we were just, messing around. We tried to be together, and what she wanted is me to like submit, and she wanted to like be the boss, and and to like have shit over me, and kind of like, oh, Robbie's a bad guy, and so now if you want to be with me, it's on my terms, and blah blah. And Robbie wasn't having that, Robbie's the boss, so I was like, okay, you know what? If you want to be together, we can be together, but we have to go to like counseling or something, And she didn't want to do it, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to, pull my hair out. I'm going to take responsibility and all that, right? So, okay. So then I'm doing my thing. And so we're trying to be, trying to be together, we keep fighting, whatever. So then I'm starting to think like, man, what is wrong with me? This is a bad, what was I thinking? And then everybody was telling me, Robbie, you need to nest. You need to show her that, that you're expecting the baby. That women, for whatever reason, they want you to nest. So I was like, all right, I'm going to nest. So then I bought all this stuff. But it's funny because, like now thinking about it, what I did was I bought all this stuff, but then I also bought like those big, containers, and then I put all the stuff in the container. So really it wasn't, like a stack of baby stuff. It was just a stack of containers. I don't know why, just they were in the boxes, and anyways. So then who, my girlfriend Jasmine, like I love Jasmine, but we grew apart. She was my I want to say like one of my longest girls. Like we were together for like, I want to say at least 2-3 years, at least 2-3 years. Yeah, because I was with her the whole time I worked at Imperial Western. So yeah, at least 2-3 years. So I love Jasmine. Jasmine, we grew apart. Instead of us hating each other, we parted ways, right? So that we could be cool. We every once in a while, she still hits me up. But anyway, all right. So I'm stressed. I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me now. Now I'm really, like, oh, now, we tried to be together. It didn't work out. We're just waiting for the baby to be born. And then everyone is telling me like, the problem, Robert, is that for men, it doesn't become real until you see the baby. And so, because before then, like, oh yeah, like they were telling me about the nesting thing, right? And they were like, when the woman feels the baby kick, that's when it becomes real to her. That's when, like, oh, her world changes, like, and so, but for men, it's different. For men, when you see the baby, Okay, that's when it finally hits you. So then, okay. So I'm like, all right, I need to see this baby. Once I see this baby, then it's gonna hit me, and then I'm gonna, fatherhood is gonna kick in somehow. So are you guys listening to my story? Are you guys following me so far? Or no? Hold on. Okay. Okay. So anyways, so this is my experience, okay? So, her aunt calls me, I want to say 2, 3 in the morning and says, hey, she's in labor. And so I'm like, okay. So I get up, I go to the hospital, and by the time I get to the hospital, she already gave birth. Okay. So, so I'm at the hospital around 3, maybe 4 at the latest, right? No, we weren't living together. No. She was living with her aunt, and I was living alone. I mean, we tried to be together, Shells, like we were friends, like we were cool. And but like I'm telling you, what she wanted is she wanted to be the boss. Like she wanted to like always have something over me, and so then I always had to do everything she wanted or she said, and I was just like, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that. Like I'd rather be single. Like, I'd rather you hate me and pay the child support and everything, but at least I'm a free man, like at least I have my freedom. So when I say that, if I wanted to, I could be with somebody. Like I could be. Anyways. So then I get to the hospital and I get there, and so she's already out. So like I don't know when her aunt like called me. Either the aunt called me, I don't know, because she told me she's in labor. So okay, so I'm, I right away I get up and I go. I'm already expecting the call, obviously, because this, they told me, okay. And so then I go to the hospital. She's already out. She's already there, and she's exhausted. She can't even, think. And so the nurse comes in, and like the nurse, like I forgot what, but like the nurse could tell or something, or like, anyways, long story short, I go, I say, yes, this is my baby. I got up right away, like I don't even think I took a shower. Like I got up, I got dressed, and I went straight to the hospital. And I'm telling you, within an hour, I was there. I was there within an hour, and the baby was already there. Like, so I don't know. Anyways, so then, no, she was born like around 3 in the morning. So I want to say she must have been in labor from like 1 to 3. She must have been in labor for like maybe 2 or 3 hours tops. Yeah. Because, the night before she was fine. Oh, wow. Jesus. That's a whole day, Shells. Okay. So then finally, like this is the moment that I've been waiting for. All right. This is the moment. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to look at this baby and I'm going to feel something. And so I pick up the baby And I look at the baby, and the baby's like asleep. And I look at her. I think I have a picture of me somewhere too. And so I look at the baby, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I guess it's not true. I guess when you see the baby, that's just something, it's not true. And as I had that thought in my mind, the baby opened her eyes and looked at me like if she heard my thought. And in that moment, what I felt was my heart, or like my soul, or whatever it is, that pain when someone breaks your heart, it like ripped in half. Ugh! Ugh! And so that's what it feels like. And then, like, the only time that you feel whole ever again is like when the baby is like right here in your arms. Like, like in that moment, like my heart skipped a beat, and that's what it feels like. And so so far, it's been worth it. All the shit that I've had to do, totally worth it. All the good, totally outweighs the bad. So that's what it's like to be a dad. Okay, hold on. Yes. I don't know, Shells, but that's what it seems like. So that's what it seems like. So okay. So then let's get back to that, right? Okay.
Pragmata, it's making thousands of people suddenly want to start a family. You place Hugh, a soldier stranded on a ruined lunar research station, whose job is protecting the childlike android Diana while fighting rogue AI. In one emotional moment, she gives him a crayon drawing of the two of them together as a little family. Even streamers who say at the start they didn't want kids end up breaking down happy in tears. So what's really interesting about this is all of these unfuckable losers in the gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff. And I don't understand like why this has become a thing that they care about. Like,
did you just hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? He's like, all these unfuckable losers who are gamers, he's on Twitch. Does he not know how to read a room? What does he think Twitch is? Twitch is a platform for gamers. So he called his entire audience fucking, losers, unfuckable losers. And then it's like, what do you mean? How do you know? Like, you have to pay for pussy.
If you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience. You should care about things that you actually enjoy, right? If you're a
like they're never gonna experience fucking a woman. What? Like they're never gonna enjoy, having a family. Like, what are you talking about?
Gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff. And I don't understand like why this has become a thing that they care about. Like, if you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience. You should care about things that
like you experience, you know, shooting Nazi zombies and shit, or you experience, you know, flying around in planes or whatever, you know, like what is he talking about? What?
you actually enjoy, right? If you're a lonely gamer who has never been around a woman and will never have sex with a woman, why do you care? Like, why do you care about having children or like riding for having children? Like, it's just not something that you're going to experience ever for your life, for the rest of your life, right?
So if you play video games, you're never gonna fuck a woman. That's what he's saying. Isn't that crazy? What a fucking weirdo, huh? And he's sitting there on Twitch, on right? I mean,
This is something that I never understand.
Wow, maybe there's a reason people are yearning to start a family and can't afford to have one and can't seem to find a partner. They feel alienated from their work and atomized from their community. If only there was a political commentator around to speak about all this. Oh well, guess not.
guess not. Guess not. So I don't know, people, but we need to get this idea that having kids is bad. All right, we need to get that idea out of these people's heads. You know, like I can already feel it with, you know, my daughter, like where she's already like, oh, I don't want to have kids. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you worried about that? You're 10 years old. Like you're so, you know, stressed that about something, you know, like that's literally like the definition of anxiety, of like worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet, you know, worrying about something in the future that just nothing to worry about. So why is this anxiety? Why? And then okay, and I'm telling you, I see it with all these couples. They're fucking 30 and 40 years old and none of them have fucking kids, and they are so terrified of having kids. So what are we doing about that? I mean, arguably, if you're a successful human being, right? I'm not saying everybody, okay? I'm not saying, you know, we all need to have babies. Some people don't need to have babies, but arguably, you would want to have a child, right? And that's the sign of you being successful, not being selfish and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna, you know." Here was the other thing. Okay, this chick.
Men and women here, how they handle this situation is so like fascinating to me.
I'm probably never having kids. I'm probably going to play video games for the rest of my life. I'm probably going to be as hot for as long as I can. And I'm probably going to keep making money. That's probably...
Okay. This is the other side of this coin. Okay. This is like the women's version.
Is so like fascinating to me.
I'm probably never having kids. I'm probably going to play video games for the rest of my life. I'm probably going to be as hot for as long as I can. And I'm probably going to keep making money. That's probably what's going to happen for the next 40 years until people are just going to keep being mad at me about it. Menopause is going to hit me like a brick wall, but at least I will be getting the bag until then. You don't want kids? I'll do it whenever I want. I don't think I'm running out of time.
Absolute delusion. I feel like a lot of men in this
My nieces and nephews all in their 30s having kids. So your nieces and nephews are having kids? That's good. Well, Nancy, I just think, look, do you agree that there's a problem? And so another part of it is that people, they don't want to admit that they're wrong, you know? So maybe just maybe some women need to be like, hey, like I'm 40 years old and I want to have a kid and now I can't have a kid, or now it's too late, and yeah, I kind of regret it. And so maybe you don't want to, make the same mistakes. And I mean, is that such a terrible thing to say? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But that's what I think, okay? I think that we need to encourage kids to be parents, like we need to figure out a way to make housing cheaper so that they can afford to have kids. And until we do, like things are just going to get worse and worse. And then one day, all of us are going to be old and there's not going to be any young people around except for, all the immigrant children, because they, they're having kids. Let's look at who is actually having kids. The really, really poor and the really, really rich. The people in the middle are the ones who are like kind of hesitating. So that's what I'm saying. Okay. We need to, so having kids, look at all the shit I do. Like, do you have any idea what I've gone through to get my daughter, and take care of her? And how many times I'm like, oh, fuck, it's not worth it. I'm just going to ship her to her mom and let her mom worry about it. But no, why? Because I can't, it's like an instinct. It's like a thing that it's in your DNA. Very good. And we're I don't know, we're trying to turn the kids gay, like stop being gay. or stop being so stubborn about things. Like, okay, fine, you're gay, fine, be gay, but I mean, don't you want to have a kid? All right, then go bang a chick, have a baby. All right, I think I'll stop there before I say anything else that's going to get me in trouble. But what do you guys think? Is there a problem? Because I'm telling you, like, I know people who they still live with their parents and they're 40 years old, and they used to tell me, these are the same people that used to tell me, Robert, if I'm 30 years old and I'm still living at home with my parents, shoot me. And like, it's like, hey man, like you're 40 years old, but like now, they're in complete denial. Now it's like, oh no, like they live with me. I don't live with them. They live with me. Okay. All right, people. So I should get to work. Have a great day. Stay out of trouble unless she's cute. Be productive. Behave. Life is short. Make it a great day. Women are evil, with with a few exceptions. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. All that jazz. I suggest that you guys watch this video so that you really understand, what's going on. But it's really sad to me that people are arguing about this and like calling each other names, and it just reminds me of like Lolo, like when she calls me an incel, and I'm like, well, what does that even mean anymore? Like the word, has lost all meaning at this point. Like now, incel is like, it means, I don't know, like someone who's never gonna have I don't know. Anyways, later.